Hey guys, last video for today. Just messed around a little bit, working down in this area again, laying down the base for this bocage hedgerow stuff here. Basically what I'm using is I'm using a 2-inch thick foam. The reason I'm using 2 is basically what I'm doing is I'm cutting a strip as wide as a ruler. So that's a little thicker than 1 inch, I believe. I lay it down on the foam, cut a strip, and then what I'm doing is then taking the strip and then halving that. So basically I get 2 long strips for every cut, and then what I do is I just roughly shape the edges, very crudely shape them out. I don't even care if I leave some flats because this is ultimately going to be covered by rock, and the rock again is just going to expose on the edge too. So when I get to the rock I'll give you some tips, but ideally what I want to do is build up the height with this stuff because it's a lot lighter than rock obviously, and I use real rock for various reasons, but it's heavy, so I try to minimize the weight by using as high a piece of foam as I can get away with. And when it comes to height, what am I talking about here for bocage? Bocage is typically 2 inches wide, but it's also, if you go to the hedgerow country, it's like 30-40 feet in some places. So these hedges are high. They're not something that a guy can just peer over. They're not like the standard box hedge. So getting down to model level, sorry, I was right away. Basically what I look for when I put on the foam is I'm basically going to about turret height, and turret height might not mean a lot, but let's put a ruler down to measure. So what we're looking at is, I think you can see we're coming over just over 1 inch because there's a little bit of distance at the end of the ruler. So right just over, probably right almost on 1 inch to be honest, right about turret level. So then I'm going to add in probably another 1 inch with the wire mesh, and then by the time I round that, you're looking at about 2.5 inches. If you put a guy down for scale, let's see what a team looks like. You're at about head height for the hedgerow, and then again you're talking about this high. Now if you think guy average, let's say 6 foot average, it should be about another 2.5 times their height, which is about right. So you put your guy on there, that's 1 times his height, and then you're about there for the second. So these are substantial hedges. You got to think, like, they had to put hedgerow cutters on tanks and then actually ram them through to get through these hedges. So we're not talking about a little box hedge that you trim up with a pair of clippers. These are hedges that needed a tank to full force run through, and I mean it took in some cases a few tries, or some cases they just couldn't get it through at all. So these are big hedges. So if you're looking for figuring out your height, that's a good way to go. Use a tank. A tank should be impossible to see at model level on the other side. It should be over that, even the tallest tank. So typically that's what I'm using, about twice the height of a tank or 3 times the height of a guy. So just some simple measurements to use, and like I said, I'll give you I got it running along here, down here, a few spots I leave a gap and then put another piece that just gives a little bit of variation in height, and you're going to vary it with mesh as well, a few little floating areas. I did decide to do something coming down through, so I want to make a breakthrough spot because certain vehicles can't get through bocage at all. Any wheeled vehicle, so I wanted to make some accessible points. So coming out of this field, if you had some towed artillery for instance, if you put them here, well, they're there for the game. So I thought it might be prudent to at least leave them an access point to get out. Again, they have an access point there as well, so if you choose to put them here, so be it, and by doing so you got a nice cover spot, but you're going to need to be funneled through here, so that's kind of a disadvantage. Strengths and weaknesses of all points. So that's all I got tonight, so talk to you tomorrow. Cheers.